So first of all, Claudia, what brings you here to Binghamton today?
Well, I was invited to attend the bail reform press conference that we just held, and was really a serious issue. It's something that's affecting our communities upstate. I've heard about it from just about everyone, whether it's law enforcement, our district attorney's offices across the upstate, and also a lot of concerned citizens are worried about their safety. They want fairness, of course, but I think there is a way to amend this law, give a little more discretion to judges. There's a lot of ramifications to it that I think people didn't anticipate. I'm hopeful that the governor is recognizing it. The Majority Leader, Andrea Stewart-Cousins, who I know in the state Senate, has also recognized it. We just need to see if we can push Speaker Hasty to, come up with some kind of reform on this, because I understand it was well-intentioned, but the consequences are really hurting upstate, and they're also, as the mayor outlined, they're costing us a lot of money. Some of these, the evidentiary issues and the timelines are really putting a burden on a lot of our law enforcement agencies, including the district attorney. And then in turn, we don't have the resources to actually follow through with some of these. And so you have repeat offenders continuing to go out, and we really have no control over any of that. And it's putting people at risk across the state, and there's some examples were cited, but it seems like they're popping up every day all over.
Gabe, do you want to ask more on this subject? Because I wanted to grab
to the election.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah. Claudia, I know you announced back in October, but this is the first time I've had a chance to talk to you one-on-one, or
thank you.
One-on-one, I guess. So just first of all, tell me why you decided to jump into the race.
Well, to be honest with you, I was indirectly asked by the President of the United States to get involved, and I'm very honored that he's endorsed me for this race early. It's not typical that you would get into a primary, but I have the support of the majority, or all of the 5 counties that do endorse in the upstate area, whether it's Oswego, Oneida, Madison, Herkimer counties, including Shenango doesn't endorse, but Cortland. And so a lot of the Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Steve Scalise, who is our House Whip, and numerous other members of Congress. I just got endorsed by Elise Pack, numerous other groups, and obviously women's groups as well around the nation. We need to take the seat back. We need to retain the majority, and they have come out and said that I'm the best person to do that and have the best chance of taking the House back and getting us back on track to actually helping the citizens of our community, and not the obsession with impeachment. And it's just a myriad of issues that need to be tackled that aren't getting done in Congress right now. We did a lot in 2017 and 2018 that are not happening, that are helping our communities, but we're kind of at a standstill. And the Democrats are just consumed with impeachment. And I mean, whether it's flooding, whether it's finding resources for our communities, those things are still in a standstill. And we want to take back the House and be active in getting that done. And with the help of the President of the United States, of course, who is a huge advocate for our region. Having come to NY22, the city of Utica, in 2018. For the first time, we've had a sitting president in Utica in 70 years. And I know you've had President Obama and President Reagan, I think, in your past. But we would love to have the president visit Binghamton and be the first president in a long time to visit the city of Binghamton. So that's one of my hopes as we move forward here.
Yeah. For better or for worse, your race last time against Anthony Brindisi was one of the most expensive in the country. How do you tackle the need to raise money for this campaign? Yeah,
well, obviously I'm proven on the Republican side that I can raise money. I mean, Anthony had a record level of money, $15 million, which is unprecedented, 2 or 3 times more than I had, although everyone thought I had the money, he had the money. But that's, the Democrats have billionaires like Tom Steyer, presidential candidate Mike Bloomberg, George Soros, who literally put in $500 million into the Democrats' races last year. And Bloomberg's actually bragging now about how he put $10 million into vulnerable Democrats. So it remains to be seen if maybe Anthony Brindisi will endorse Mayor Bloomberg for president this time. And then get that $2 million that he's holding over his head and has given already, or pledged at least, to Max Rose, who is another seat that was turned in 2018, along with Lucy McBath, who's in a competitive Georgia 6 race. I mean, there's Democrats taking the Bloomberg endorsement and the Bloomberg money right now. So it will be interesting to see, if that's a way where he's going to go. But I think he's shown that he's done a great job of retracing my steps, taking credit for a lot of the initiatives. I know he just took credit yesterday for the grant that we received for BAE for the environmentally friendly buses. And that was actually a grant we announced in 2017, even before he announced he was running for Congress. So I love that he's following in my footsteps and taking on the leadership that I had, but unfortunately I think you need me to lead the way so he can follow along, it looks like. And there's just so many other initiatives that that I've watched that he's taking on, and really just not sure where to go, very indecisive, impeached the president, but took a long time to get there. So I think that it's an exciting race. It's certainly going to be tough. It was close, but I think the fact that I get to be here now and be on the ground every day and he's stuck in Washington gives me also an advantage. And I think people, and as tying this to the bail reform press conference that we just had, one of the things that people are waking up to is that for the first time in a long time, Albany is completely run by the New York City left-wing Democratic agenda. And that is causing a lot of issues. And I think people are getting fatigued from that agenda up in this end, especially in upstate. And so that, I think, is another factor, plus 30,000 more people probably will vote in 2020 than voted in 2018. There wasn't a big turnout, and I think it makes a difference with the president on top of the ticket, especially in a district like this that in a presidential year really went for the president in a big way, including Broome County.
You mentioned some of those high-profile endorsements, including the president, but you are also locked up in a primary. Hasn't been a lot of things out of your campaign, communication out of your campaign about George Phillips or any of your opponents. How are you viewing this primary? How are you approaching it, or do you see it as your nomination against Anthony Brindisi?
Well, I ran against George Phillips in 2016, and he came in a distant third in a three-way primary. He only received a majority of the votes in Broome County. He's a nice guy, but he has never been elected to anything, and he's been running for Congress for about 13 years, and this is his fourth try. He doesn't have a proven record. He speaks a lot of platitudes about what he says he stands for, but he doesn't actually have a record. And so I have a record of achievement, a good conservative record, and he has not run for anything where he can actually take a vote that matters to the public. And so I know he's way behind in the fundraising effort. He doesn't have a lot of endorsements even from the local committees. I have the endorsement of the Conservative Party, and I don't think anyone can win this race as a Republican without the conservative line. And he just doesn't seem to have the resources he needs in the entire district. He certainly probably will fare pretty well in Broome. But when you get beyond and up, a lot of this district is also, it's 8 counties, and one county is just not going to be enough.
Do you feel like with the president being on the ballot this time around compared to 2018, if it is you against Anthony Brindisi, do you feel like that's going to give you a boost with folks who might not necessarily vote in every election but do vote presidential elections?
Oh yes, big difference. I mean, look at 2018. I mean, 2018 to me, in my analysis of it, was not a Trump district. The Mueller report hadn't been completed. The seeds of the economy with the tax cuts that I voted for and supported, rolling back unnecessary regulations, the resources and the help that we brought to this community, fighting for, the historic tax credits, doubling the child care credit, all these things that we did and fought for, and I did actually as a member of Congress, those things hadn't really developed in 2018, so there was a lot of uncertainty. Adding the president back on the top of the ballot, you're going to have 30,000 more votes, at least 20 or 30 anyway. And that's cyclical. You can look at it over the course of many years, and that's what's been happening. So I think it does give us a big advantage. I think the impeachment vote is the #1 thing that gets said to me. I've talked to numerous people, even Democrats, independents, as I go door to door, who say, I'm done. He voted to impeach the president. I will not vote for him again. And I've heard that over and over from people all around. I mean, whether I'm in Broome County, I've been in every county, every single week, and I hear the same thing over and over. People feel like that impeachment vote was a sellout to his district, which is a strong Trump district, also to, the success of what's happening around the economy and with so many other sectors.
That's all.
Anything else?
Thank you.